All right, IED students, welcome back to our tutorials on how to make Automoblox parts with Inventor. So far, you should have made the body section for the car, you should have made the windshield, and then the passenger base that had the star, the square, the circle, and the triangle in it. Well, now we are finally up to the Automoblox wheel. And you'll see kind of the breakdown for this in front of you. It's kind of a simplified version of what's on the Automoblox, but it'll get you some basic ideas. So the model, it even tell you right there in the notes, the model will not replicate the Automoblox wheel exactly, but once you've gained more familiarity with 3D modeling and tools and features, you may want to try and more closely mimic the contours of the wheel. So we'll get some basics here using the circle tool, perhaps the offset tool, geometric constraints, general dimensioning. Of course, we'll make a new 2D sketch. A brand new tool this time around is going to be the project geometry and also the circular pattern tool. So as you get an idea of what we're going to do, we're going to make this part here and transfer down to until we get a part that looks a lot like that. It kind of gives you a bit of an idea. So let's jump into Inventor to get ourselves started. And we'll go ahead and make ourselves a new part file. And I think we're going to start drawing from the XY plane, so kind of that front view, if you will. So go ahead and start ourselves a new sketch. Yeah, XY, kind of associated with our front view. So as we begin with this, again, it's a simplified version. So I always like to start at the origin. So basically, it's a series of circles is what we're going to draw here. So we're going to start out with a circle that is 0.44, and we're talking diameter here, so just a 0.44. Then we're going to use something new. I think maybe we've used it once before, the offset tool right up here in the modify panel. So if we want to offset this, and if you are studying your drawing with me, you're going to take this offset. You just click on the shape on offset, pull it in, and you can key in the offset. So I think we're going to offset that about a 0.05. So it kind of gives us the middle hub of the wheel. From there, we're going to continue to use offset. We're going to offset from that outside one a 0.35. And finally, one more on the outside of that is a 0.05. And just like that, we have the makings of a wheel. I'm going to go ahead and finish our sketch there, and we're going to start extruding this. And what do we want to extrude? Well, we have to tell what we want to extrude first. So I'm going to select the outer ring here. You kind of have to move your mouse to get it selected. If you hold your shift button down, we can get that inner ring as well. Okay, so we want, if you can envision with me, here's the tire. Here is the middle hub for that wheel, and we're going to extrude this to a 0.57. Okay, starting to see a little bit of a wheel. I hope you can envision that with me. The axle and then the wheel or the tire shape going around from that. All right, so far so good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a tool called project geometry. Project geometry kind of helps you to draw another part exactly where an existing part is. So let's start out by making a new sketch on this plane, and we'll just go right click new sketch, and we're going to project geometry. And you just have to select the first one here. I want this edge and this edge. And if you notice how they turn yellow, now that geometry is there, and it's going to make life a little easier when we go about doing this this next step here. Oh, I guess I want to project this geometry as well. If I study my drawing close enough, I'll get that right. So from there, we haven't really drawn anything yet. We've just said, yeah, there's a line there that we can click into. If we don't do that, we may not be able to click into that. So take our circle tool and we're going to click right out to, and it snaps right into place. Take another from the center, we'll snap into place right there. Okay. With that, we are going to make an extrusion I'm going to finish my sketch here. And to help this a little bit, I'm going to extrude. I want to extrude that space as well as that one. So I'm going to pick them both at the same time. Now, a new way to extrude that we haven't done much with is what we're going to call, we've normally done either the default, which is typically towards us, away from us, which is flipped, or we're going to do a symmetrical extrusion. So half in and half out. And if we study the drawing close enough, we realize we have a 0.05 symmetrical extrusion. And the idea of that, I'm going to hit OK. The idea of that, we want half of this inside the wheel and half outside. Now, to show you what I mean by that, I'm going to go up to the View tool on the tabs up top. We can look at Visual Style, and I'm going to show us a wireframe with hidden edges. And if you can kind of see with me, here is the outside of that face we just did, and there is the inside right there. So you can kind of see it's half in, half out. Not a common look to use this wireframe, but it kind of shows the point that I'm trying to make there. If you start looking at that, you can see the inside of where the tire face is. So half of it is out, and half it's going into the tire. Change my visual style back to our default, shaded with edges. And just like that, we're back where we were. All right, this is kind of where the fun begins. We're going to use a new tool we refer to as a circular pattern tool. There's circular pattern tools. What we're going to do is let's go ahead and make ourselves a new sketch on this round face of the wheel. Okay, and to do so, I'm just going to study my drawing a little bit here. I don't think we're going to get real carried away with what we have to do here, but we're going to make a circle. Grab my circle tool, and I'm going to start it right at that point. And you can see I'm kind of snapping into that. To be certain, I could always do my project geometry. Then I know I'm right there. I can snap into that for sure. There's my circle now. Boom, I snap right into that. Okay. And I don't even know what our dimension is. Oh, there it is. It's a 0.25. So 0.25. And if you kind of follow what we're going to do there, you know something, I drew that wrong. We're going to show you one other tool here that is kind of a new thing for us. We're going to go draw our circle again, but before I dimension that, notice how I'm in diameter. I'm going to right click, and with that, I can change my dimension to a radius. A radius. So if I look at that drawing in the packet, it shows that that's actually a radius of 0.25. All right, that looks to make more sense. All right, we have projected this geometry, so now it's easy enough. I can take my arc tool, start my arc right there, and my arc right there, and just snap that guy into place. Right click and turn my arc tool off. Now we can use something we've used already, and that's our trim tool. All we're interested in is this portion right here. So if we want to trim this away, we can see we have one notch left here. And we want to make that pattern around the circle, so it's like holes or notches in the wheel, and we want it evenly spaced. So it's kind of a neat tool in Inventor that is called a pattern, and it's a circular pattern. Right here is it. Here it is in our pattern panel, and it is a circular panel. So what's my geometry? I'm going to drag my mouse across there so I can select that geometry. Now, if I go left to right, that selects everything in there. Now, if I went right to left, everything it touches will be selected. And I don't want all that. So I just want just that portion. And we have to say, okay, what's our axis? What's it's going to spin around? We're going to try and spin it around the center point, so in a circular pattern. So let's go ahead and pick our circular edge. You can pick that one, or I guess that's the only one we can pick. I didn't project my geometry, so I can use this one, and notice how it automatically places 6, but our design calls for only 5. So if I change that, I could change that to even 4. I could change that to 3, whatever we need, and then we can just allow that to pattern that into place. And now it's just a matter of making an extrusion again. We can finish our sketch, and we can extrude, and it's just a matter of holding your shift button down and selecting each of those little ovals. We're going to go the other way. We want to cut it all the way through, hit OK, and just like that, we have a patterned wheel. All right. I'm going to back up a couple steps because there is more than one way to go about this. Kind of a fun way to do this. Let's go back and let's extrude just one of these, okay? Just one. All right, so we've got just one of them done. Now, the cool thing we can do, we can go back to the 3D model. There is a pattern tool in this as well. So we can go up here, pattern, in the 3D environment, circular pattern. We can pattern a feature. It says, what feature do we want to pattern? We want to pattern that feature right there. What's our axis of rotation? Same idea. Pick a rounded edge, and it places that just like we want it, and now it'll duplicate. In effect, it's the same exact thing, but you can either make it in the 2D environment or the 3D environment. There are a number of tools in Inventor that allow you to do just that. And with that, you have the Automoblox wheel. Again, it's a simplified version, but you have an Automoblox wheel. If you want to have a little bit of fun with it, let's go ahead and pick this surface and let's add some material to it. Sometimes it's fun to just play around with that. And let's see if we can find Autodesk material. Oh, let's see. What can we find here? Nothing, nothing, nothing. There we go. And let's go black, kind of make it look like a tire. So we can pick on black. And maybe we want to make this a chrome rim. So we can go here, go to our default again for a color. Let's make that. Let's see if there's a chrome up here. Oh, look at that. Polished chrome. Kind of shiny, if you will. Well, we probably want to make the edge of that tire colored as well. So see if we can get the edge of that. There it is. We can go ahead and make the edge of that guy black as well. Just kind of having some fun with Inventor here. If you don't like that chrome we had here, we might go back up here and find some different kind of chrome. Maybe there's I think there was a blue chrome. Let's go polish blue chrome. Yeah, there we go. Something a little fun, but you can experiment with that a little bit if you should get done early, but kind of looks like the tire or the wheel from the Automoblox car. So there you have it. There is your tutorial on how to draw the Automoblox wheel. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.